Welcome to Soul Fire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Love Light. Raven is a clinical hypnotherapist, angelic alchemy practitioner, Reiki master, and spiritual coach, guiding souls through past life regression, Akashic readings, and deep transformational healing. Lisa Love Light walks the path of awakening and remembrance, weaving esoteric wisdom with the living light of Source through Reiki past life healing hypnosis, Akashic readings, and intuitive coaching. She helps others activate their divine blueprint and highest timeline. Together, Raven and Lisa invite you into a sacred space of healing, remembrance, and empowerment. Greetings. Welcome to another edition of Soul Fire Ascension. And our special guest is Kim Kent. Let me play Kim's video so we can introduce her properly. Join us as we welcome Kim Kent, a spiritual guide and light worker whose journey has been shaped by profound life experiences and over 30 years in mainstream medicine. Kim brings wisdom from numerology, reincarnation, astrology, and spiritual psychology, and her book, The Inner Forces, Guided by Spirit, she helps others heal past life traumas, translate dreams and symbols, and connect with their higher purpose. Through personal trials, including the loss of her husband in the Bali bombings and caring for her mother with Alzheimer's, Kim has embodied resilience, compassion, and spiritual strength. Today, she empowers others to walk their path of love and light. Live Friday, October 3rd, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you missed the live show, you can catch the replay on YouTube and on Rumble at Soul Fire Ascension and on Spotify anytime. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring conversations. Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you. Thank you.
So honored to have you here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
And I'm sure Lisa has some...
I always have questions. We know that, but I'm but so excited. Yes, Kim, thank you so kindly for joining us, because Kim is halfway across the planet, I should say, not continent.
Yeah,
the planet.
I'm in the southern hemisphere. Yeah, it's 10 a.m. in the morning here.
Mm-hmm. So thank you so kindly.
Springtime too.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
And it's springtime there too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
Excellent, excellent. So, Kim, we're packed with information. You are such a beautiful light, so many gifts to share with others, and perhaps you can share a little bit what you would like to share with us in this moment about your journey, how you led up to this moment now, of what you would like our guests to know about your journey, please.
Yeah, for sure. I started out from a very conventional family in a small country town in northern Queensland in Australia, and I found that that I never really actually ever fitted in, but I didn't know why. And growing up there, it was always something, I felt that there was something else to me, but I didn't really quite know what that was all about. But I must say that gave me a really good grounding because a lot of the times my work now is often about being able to translate a spirituality towards people that may not have that perspective yet, but particularly when it comes to things that are of more of that esoteric type. So having that background and having parents that were very grounded and very practical minded was great. But like I said, it moved me forward. But then I ended up nursing. So again, even though that was in more of the service industry and more of the compassionate field, it's still very conventional. And I thought that that's how I had to be, that I had to stifle that part of me that was spiritually minded, that went off onto all these different tangents, that felt that things were a lot more than what we see, feel, and hear. Because you have to fit in, you have to belong. And you know that we're talking now about the 80s, and during that time I always had that feeling that there was more to it. But even in my nursing practice, my first day as a trainee nurse, I had to lay out a body, someone who had passed, and the nurse that I was working with that was meant to be there to help me, so I would have been 17 at that point, got really nervous for some reason, and I found myself having to comfort her and say, well, look, you know, this body, it's only a shell. If you look in their eyes, you know, the soul has gone, everything's okay. We're just we're caring for a shell here with respect, but you know, the soul has gone. And so that sort of made me realize that it really, there is more to it, and it was coming through from my soul as well, talking to me, and me starting to listen and have that intuition and to believe and trust in that intuition. So then I moved to Sydney, and that's where my husband who passed, we moved to Sydney together. And again, I happened to just the place where we were stopping was right next door to a lady who became my mentor, and she had like a window, and I used to walk past her window on the way home from work and to work every day. And the sign actually said, who were you in a past lifetime? Do you feel that you have been here before? Do you feel that you have experiences that you can't relate to any, or are you attracting situations that for a reason? I'm going, yeah, that's me. And I kept, maybe it took me a few months before I finally went in there. And her name was Helga, and she asked me for my date of birth, and she did my chart, my astrology chart, and she was explaining all these things, and I had absolutely no idea what she was talking about. It was like that whole thing, your lips are moving, but I don't know what you're saying. But I didn't know consciously, but there's that, you know, that inner part of me that's going, there's something more to it. And so then she did some healing on me, and she touched my, she put her hands over my eyes. And I can say this now that I didn't understand it at the time. I felt like my third eye had been closed and started to open. And it opened really widely. And I started getting visions, and I had never had visions before. Or perhaps they'd been there, but they weren't strong. So it was almost like I could see into a whole other world. And then as she was healing me, I saw like a wheel. It was the wheel of time. I only know that now. At the time, I didn't know what was going on, but I was looking at this wheel, and it was just spinning around. And it was like, well, where is it going to stop? What timeline will it stop into? And it stopped at a point in about maybe the 14th century, and I saw a past lifetime from then. And then after that lifetime, I saw myself ascending, and I thought, oh, I'm in Rome, I'm in somewhere in Greece. But I feel that it was on that higher plane. I'd moved up into the heavens, as we like to call them, and I was at the council, and they were teaching me and asking me all sorts of questions about what the life that I had been living and how I was going to live my life now. And then I walked out of there, and it wasn't like a magic wand, but it just changed me completely. So everything that kept moving forward, everything that I saw then started to unfold throughout the generations, so that was still in the 80s. So now here in the 2020s, those things that I learnt about, I studied astrology, numerology. I just couldn't get enough of this information. I was like a sponge. I just kept absorbing more and more of it in, and the more I absorbed, the more I felt that the whole nursing thing was starting to fall away. Even when I tried to get into positions where I was moving up the ladder, it never felt right. I never felt that I was standing in my truth. And so I finally left nursing and moved full time into practicing from home and feeling the changes of people that were actually becoming more acceptable about everything spiritual. And I felt that I was becoming, like I said, a translator. So all of this information that is coming through needed to land here so that people could take it on board. They could use it in their daily living, because it doesn't matter what we are given, what knowledge or what we read about. It doesn't matter if we cannot process it within our being. We have to be able to process the information and put it into our daily living. Otherwise, it becomes too compartmentalized. It becomes something that I do rather than something that I live and breathe by. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but it's also been, I've noticed that now we're moving into this really quickening phase. So people that are coming through now, and younger generations, they are experiencing something completely different. They're much more open, and they are much more accepting of a lot of these things that took us a long while, and took me a long while to be able to settle into. But it's good practice as well, because you learn about, if someone starts to question you, then you already have an answer, because you go, I know where you're going with that, and I can explain that to you now, because I've experienced it and know what you're going through. So yeah, that's pretty much where I am now.
Wow. So astrology, numerology,
Yeah.
and besides that, also do you do sessions of some type? You also.
Yeah,
Mhm,
I work basically on energy, and
mhm.
everything has become more intuitive, and what I feel, what someone needs, and just being able to work with them and let them know that they're in a safe place, where that if they need healing, that I can be their facilitator. I can activate and manifest something for them moving forward, so that they can walk away thinking, well, okay, so that was nice. But now I've got something to work with as well. I can take this into my daily practice and feel as though I can awaken, because that's what we're all moving through, and that's what we're being called to now. All light workers are being called to awaken us all, to move forward and to come through these times that are scary for a lot of people. But it's all about change.
Absolutely. The only constant in life is change,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell past lives through astrology.
Yes, yeah. It's because the type of astrology that I was taught was not based on traditional astrology. It was based on my mentor's channeling, and because she could actually, she was a hypnotherapist, and she actually did many sessions with me in terms of past lifetimes. But she also was able to channel through charts, and teaching people how to understand the difference between a traditional type of astrology as opposed to what she termed the astrology of reincarnation. So you have on the outside of a chart, of a birth chart, all of those planets are your conscious level, and the different houses that they fall in is just say like somebody who has say Cancer in the third house. So the third house is communication, and so therefore, and your thought process. So if you have Cancer, then your conscious level thinking can be very sensitive, and that you can find it difficult sometimes to regulate your emotions because you're sensitive particularly to the moon, because the moon rules Cancer. So when the moon starts to move through its phases, which it shifts every 2 hours, then you can start to feel like, oh, I'm such an emotional person. I feel as though people might call me moody, but what's happening is you're responding, and it's all about the water as well. You're moving, your water sign is moving through the different shifts within the moon. But then on the inside of the chart, you have your inner self, and that's the soul area. So on the soul area, you may have another planet, which might be the sun. You might be a sun Cancerian, and that might be in the third house. And that's talking about not just what's happening now for you, but something that's happened in your past lifetime. And with the sun, it can also indicate persecution. So maybe you were persecuted in the past for being a spiritual person. Maybe you were, what they termed witches, and that you were burnt at the stake, but you're not understanding that on the conscious level. You're feeling the sensitivity, and you're not able to understand, and rightly so as well, because we don't want to have all of those memories coming through, because you will be totally out of sync with time, and it will be far too fearful for you to remember those things. That's why we have almost like a past life amnesia until we need to bring it forth. And sometimes it's better to have it through the chart, because it gives you an explanation, but you're not getting the full on fear of persecution. But yeah, so that's the difference, and you can see where karma has been created, and often what you can do to bring forth the light into that part of your life, because we all have that choice where we have the shadow side of it, and then we have the light side of it. So but sometimes we need to come through that shadow so that we can process it and go, okay, so this is what's happened, but I need to move through this. I need to find a solution to help me to be at peace with myself. And like I said, find out who I am becoming now. Who will I be? Not what I have been, but who am I going to be now? And that's going to be the challenge for all of us as we move through with the astrology side of it. Yeah.
Thank you for breaking that down. I personally, like, I love astrology. I was
Yeah.
not
So
aware. Oh, I was not aware that that the inner like the inner realm of the chart pointed towards past life.
yes.
So
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah.
teaching me.
That's
That's
yeah.
very interesting. I mean,
Good. Yeah.
me personally, I do like to pay attention to what is going on in the current moment of the week, every
Mm,
week when it comes to the
mm.
astrology,
Yeah.
um, because of what's at play, and knowing what is going on, what's the current theme, and then that way for me it helps me navigate my week a little bit
Yeah.
smoother, because
Yeah.
reminding myself, stay in my heart. People might be
Yeah.
crabby this week. They might be
Yes.
honking a little extra. There might be some
Yeah.
accidents,
Yeah. Yeah.
etc., etc. So
That's exactly right. And it's a little bit like being forewarned is being forearmed. So it's sort of, and also you don't take it personally. You go, well, if I'm experiencing this, then everybody else must be having some sort of experience along the same lines. It's just that we all express it in such different ways.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
thank you. Mm-hmm. My fur baby keeps, so my apologies, I keep muting myself because she's playing with her toy and I don't want the squeaker to. We're going to be feisty
We're
right now.
organic. It's all just on a free flow. So I love animals. So it's okay.
Awesome.
Your cat can do whatever.
Well, and you're doing some animal communications too, aren't you?
Yeah. And I actually wanted to shout out to one of my clients and friend Deb, who is watching us live. But she's one of the people that's pushing me into that. And she keeps saying, "Oh, you should do more." And I've got so many other things going. I'm having problems dealing with humans, let alone working with animals. So I've sort of just been doing it for friends and people that most of the people I know, but I just had a lady who has a dog with Alzheimer's, and we did a little bit of actually through sound healing. I find that sound healing is the way that I open up now in terms of visions and getting my answers. So I got some information for her cat. Sorry, for her dog. It's just something very, very new, and I have enrolled in a class which was starting this month. So hopefully, some more things will come through from that. But sound healing has been really big in terms of helping me to open up just recently to all of this energy. I think it's because it's sending out a vibration that is opening up that third eye, and it's also helping us to move away from our third dimensional world and about our logical thought process. It's moving us into that altered state of consciousness so we can allow this stuff to come through. And man, it's been coming through big time for me. So it's been really good. And sometimes I don't even understand it, because when you also feel stuff, you think, well, what am I feeling right now? And particularly with this little dog, I was picking up the feelings of her owner, who is very much into sadness and a lot of confusion about how what she can do to help her little dog, and fear that she's not doing enough. But it took me a while to understand how that was going to help her. But we got there in the end. So it's a process.
And if
So
we can share.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, sister. I was just going to ask if we can share with our audience, because some are not familiar with sound healing. So when you say sound healing,
That's what I was going to talk about too.
We're in sync.
Yes.
So yes.
Yeah, sound healing. I actually have it's probably a little bit too far away now. I have a bowl here, and it's basically it's an ancient traditional method, and the Tibetans have been using healing bowls for a very long time. And I'm actually not a sound healer myself, but I have been to Sienna, and she channels as well. So it's, and also another chap, Adam, who's a shaman as well. So both of these people have introduced me to the most amazing it's not just about the sound itself, it's the people that are actually transmitting the information. And when they get into a space where they're able to bring forth something and channel something through, the messages just become incredibly powerful. And I recommend to anybody, if they have an opportunity to have some sound healing, it's the way of the future. It really, I just feel it's going to come through even more. And some of the information and the stories that have been told to me while I've been in the sound healing is that one of the sessions I did with Sienna is that it's coming through almost like the whale song. And I had a vision of these humpback whales, and they were singing not through the water, and the sound that a whale makes, and that sound was actually then coming through the bowls, and it's all very, very similar with messages for the planet that we need more than ever now, is these messages of getting to that collective consciousness and being able to rise above. And soulfire ascension is just perfect, rise above and ascend beyond that earthly fear-based that we're fed through the media and so forth. So yeah, it's going to be big.
Yeah, I do a bit of sound healing.
Yeah.
A lot of my meditations, I use my crystal bowls, but yeah, I have my
Yes.
crystal bowls.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you play them, people can go off into a trance when you're playing.
Yeah. They
They
yeah,
will
me.
trigger that sort of thing. So, yeah, and sound healing is becoming more and more popular. I think a lot of them are calling it sound baths, but
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I like using it in my meditations. I like using my crystal bowls because
Yeah.
in the parts that people are imagining, say a certain thing, while I'm playing the bowls, I think that it helps them to journey
Yes.
into that. So
It
yeah,
does.
sound
Absolutely.
healing is like amazing. But you've been doing some other things as well. You've been have you been channeling or
I
down?
had, but I actually wouldn't have never have called it channeling. But I have been getting a lot of visions. The from the first one. Let me just, because they've been using different element, like the elements of the fire, of the water, which was the humpback whale one, and I'm not sure about the earth, whether it was earth or not, but it was a lioness, and it actually did. I was in the Masai Mara last year, and I did see a lioness, and I saw her cubs, which I have a photo of, and they were hiding in a bush. But then she came to me in this vision. So maybe about 12 months later, and the thing is that time is, it was irrelevant that it happened 12 months ago, because it was just presenting to me 12 months later, because I was ready for her message. And she came to me while I was having the sound healing, and she looked at me and said, "Come with me." And like, I hesitated and didn't want to go, and then she looked behind with this look of absolute strength, and she said, "Well, are you coming or not? Are you going to come with me, follow me?" And it's like, okay, all right. So I followed, and she took me to show me her cubs that were hiding in these bushes. And then I met the lion that was there, the male lion. And I was there for a while, and nothing was kind of happening. We were just there. And I remember saying, "Well, what are we doing?" And she said to me, "We're waiting for you. Are you going to join us? Are you going to become a part of our pride?" And I thought, "Oh, this is interesting." And then it was almost like she presented then as these higher beings. And I was speaking to them, and I said, "Why have you presented yourself as animals?" And they just said, because you wouldn't trust another human to come on this journey. And so we have presented ourselves as animals because we know that you would go with an animal before you would go with a human being, because of the agendas and things like that. So I did follow, and the question was, are you going to join us or not? And I had to think about it for a while, and I said, well, okay. And they said, we want you to hold a light column for us. We want you to hold that column so that you can bring from this higher realm, to bring it down into the earth and bring that message and bring that light through. And that was pretty much where that ended. And I asked again, because she keeps presenting herself to me, and I kept asking, well, why is nothing happening? And she just said, we want you time. You need time to integrate all of this, because it's a lot, and you will become completely overwhelmed by it all, because there's so much more coming through. And you're not ready yet. So I think it sort of is helping us to understand that we all need patience as well. So all of this stuff is amazing and exciting, but ground yourself in the earth, and let yourself be okay to experience it in your own time. Don't feel as though, because of this quickening of the planet, that you have to move through it really quickly. You have to do it when you're ready. So that was a really nice message, and that was maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, and I think in being here as well is part of holding that light column and just going, yeah, don't hide yourself away, because that was the insight as well, is that those little cubs weren't quite ready. They were still young, and they were hiding, and it was almost like the message: stop hiding away, get out there, and spread the word, however that happens, whether it be with one person, whether it be with friends, family, whoever. Even just thinking about it, even if you're behind the walls of your home and you can't get out for whatever reason, that doesn't matter. If you're in a space where you're feeling that light, then you're channeling it up anyway. There's nothing, you don't have to be a great, speaker or anything like that. It's not about that at all. It's just about every individual doing their own thing in their own way. Yeah, so that was mind blowing. Then it all started from there. So more stuff started coming through then from all these Indigenous people that were speaking to me. Indigenous women, actually, I will be honest, that they were women, and they were sort of like that they are going to provide a very strong force for all of us moving forward. Yeah.
Did they have anything else to say besides that?
Yeah, so this was the water one. That was another session where this was in the Pacific Ocean. So I'd moved, so it's taking me to all these different parts of the globe, which gives me that whole global feeling that it's not just in our own backyards. This is happening everywhere, and to become a part of that global community. And this was in the Pacific, and it was, first of all, it started as an islander, and there were women there, and there was one who was brushing the other woman's hair, and they were caring for each other, but they were preparing for a journey, and that they had a really long journey to go in these tiny little rafts that were quite narrow. And I remember it, as because I was communicating with them, obviously non-verbally. Well, you're amazing. Like, where are you going on? You're going on this big journey. The ocean is so deep, so vast, so scary. Are you not afraid of storms? Are you not afraid that you're not protected? How are you going to get to that place? You need so much strength and so much energy. And she just said to me, do you ever think we do this journey on our own? we are protected. And she showed me all these humpback whales, and they had completely encircled the whole of their rafts, and were creating almost like a slipstream so that they could move through, and they were moving through at a rapid pace. And I think that the assurance there is that when these changes happen, they're going to come through quite rapidly, a lot faster than I expected. So the shift is like whoosh, it's just going to come through for us. And again, not to be afraid. So I thought, oh wow, so the whales are actually protecting the planet as well, and they're here bringing forth all of this feminine energy that we need. I want to know more now about the whales. And before I knew it, I had dived. So I seemed to be on the raft as well. And then I dived down. And as you can imagine, this big whale was standing like in the water, as like it was sleeping. And it had like its fins were just sort of sitting out there as though it was embracing me, and this tiny little dot that was me was stood on the underbelly, or floating on the underbelly of the whale. And she was saying, we have your back, you are completely protected. What is coming through, you are protected from. We have provided a wall of protection. And I feel that for all of us as light workers, and people that are willing to embrace the light, is that we are all protected. Do not be afraid. Don't sit in that fear. We can move through this, that we're not alone. And I think that was the big message there, is that you're not doing this on your own. You're not alone. You don't have to become overwhelmed by this massive task about changing the world. Is that there's a lot of protection, and there's a lot of this channeling going to come through for a lot of people. So yeah, that was another one.
Wow, but very much needed, that message.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel that as well. Yeah, it's just incredible. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because
And
we are, I guess, taught the reaction of fear anytime that something different comes about. So it would be normal for you to have that fear.
mm-hmm. Yeah, we all have it.
Yeah.
And but I think we've sort of like been taught to um, put a boundary and protect ourselves from the fear. But what we have become focused on is those boundaries that we have set, and as we're evolving, we're learning that, okay, so there's certain things that I don't want to accept anymore. And some boundaries have become the latest, or the trend, and it's been very very good and very necessary for a lot of people to understand that there are things that you do not have to accept in your life. You do not have to allow certain things. But what has happened is we've become so focused on our boundaries that we've actually barricaded ourselves in with that space, and created almost like a hypervigilance on all of the things that I no longer allow. I no longer allow this into my life, which is can be self-empowering. But by the same token, we've taken our focus away from, what now do I allow in? What now do I allow myself to receive and accept? Do I accept and receive healing? Do I accept and receive joy and happiness? Do I accept and receive, the word that came through to me was courage? Can I be courageous? And rather than barricade myself in, can I find a way to be able to have a sense that I am with the whales now, that I have this wall of protection, and that I can come out, I can be in my heart space, I can drop into my truth and my heart, and still be safe and okay. So that's the evolution that we're moving through now. So yeah.
I think that's pretty interesting where where you said that people are focusing on what they will not accept in their life and
Yeah.
they don't want, and you know,
Yeah.
instead of instead of thinking what I will accept in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that, like, there's this old thing that the universe doesn't know that you don't want it. All
Yeah.
that universe knows is that you're focusing on it. So if you're
Yeah.
focusing on what you don't want, you're still putting that out in the universe and
Yes.
getting that back.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we should focus on what we do want in our lives, the
Yeah.
energies and everything that we do want, and put
Yeah.
that out into the universe.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where we're moving. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think that it's wonderful that we're getting, that we have the protection, that you're getting the message of
Mm,
protection. And
mm.
actually, our show last week was actually Vivian the Arcturian, and she was saying, we're here to help you.
Yeah.
So
I
we're
feel
getting
it.
protection and we're getting aid from so many different
Mm,
sources.
mm. I can feel it. It's just, yeah, very, very energetic at the moment. It's just all moving through.
Yeah. And I think it's moving through faster than we would like to think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that can be the challenge as well, and that's where I wanted to bring in a little bit more about the astrology. That's just my thought. Bring more in about the astrology as well. Is that Neptune is moving or is now in Aries until April 2038, and Saturn is in Aries until also April. Sorry, Neptune is in Aries until April 2038. And then Saturn is in Aries from February next year until April 2028. And Aries is all about the personality, and is ruled by the first house of personality. And what's happening is that we're starting to understand that, and have more of this free independent thought, and not, and to question more of the things that we're being told now. So there's more, but that's also a very fiery energy. And so with this fire, and Arians, sun Arians will know this, they'll identify with this. They want things to happen straight away, like they're quick. And they have quite quick, if they're feeling that fear, they become very defensive and quick at answering back. So they can become quite reactionary, but they want things to happen really fast. So when that's starting to happen to us, we obviously need to drop back a little bit and just go, okay, so I need to sit with this for a little while. This is something that's moving through for another decade. So it's giving us time to understand that we don't need to encompass all of this all at once, because we're all shifting, we're all changing our identity as well. We're starting to question not only things that are happening in our exterior world, we're also starting to question things that are happening from within our own being, our own thoughts. And the things that we valued may not be what we want to value in the future. And so therefore a lot of us are having challenges where we're starting to question our motives about things that we're doing, about our own personalities. And that can create a lot of confusion, because Neptune can be in the shadow side, is more about confusion. But to move into the clarity and to overcome the fear is to be able to sort of say, well, okay, let's not go into that sense of inadequacy because I don't know. Let's move through this process and go, well, I can find clarity here if I just accept that sometimes it's okay for me not to know. Things can unravel in their own time. I can be more patient and let things unfold. I don't need to react as quickly. And then as you move through, you start to get to that point where you understand that you are becoming something new. And that's what's happening for all of us. And that's what will keep happening, is we don't, if we're not who we were even yesterday or the day before. Who are we becoming? So not only are we questioning now what do we receive in and what do we want, but who are we becoming? What will we be in the future? And that will be a slow process too. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yes. And so nice that you can tell us what is coming through the energies and with the astrology.
Yeah.
It's enlightening. Taking us back to our previous conversation, David Price says, believe it, believe you already have it, and it will manifest. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's all good
So
for us to
what else
manifestation.
what else would you say that the astrological forecast
Yeah.
has?
I was looking at Pluto in Aquarius, which is until 2024. So Pluto is what Pluto does is that it actually unfolds the truth. And that truth may have been hidden for decades, for centuries. But when the time is right, the truth will come through because that's a universal law. The truth can never, ever be denied to any of us. And that's part of the planet of free will. That's part of why we're here, is to use our free will when we are informed by the truth. So now that Pluto is in Aquarius, it means that the truth is coming through because Aquarius is all about human rights. So we're starting to learn about the truth of humanity, and not only the things that have been hidden from us in terms of like nefarious bad things, but also the things that have been hidden from us that put us in our power. As we know that a lot of knowledge about our own self-empowerment has been lost, and religion has been a big one of that, suppressing that, to control you. You have to be in the fear. You have to believe that you are nothing without the church or without authority in your life. So our own power has been lost. So it's becoming more now with this Aquarius, is it's power to the people, and to believe and know that we actually are more than we realize. And that goes back to that comment before from your viewer, Daniel, I think, is that we're learning and understanding that manifestation is within our capabilities.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
yeah, but having said that, Aquarians, and again, my friend Deb, who's a very, very strong Aquarian, and it's interesting how when you need to know something, the people that come as your clients and the people that you attract into your life always teach you something. And having such a strong Aquarian in my life, one of the things is that they tend to waver. And so that's what will be happening to all of us during this Pluto Aquarius. We will feel that wavering. It's like, oh, yeah, this is amazing. I'm protected. I've got all these amazing things happening, but I've still got to make a living. So what happens is that we can tend to go out of that higher consciousness and move back into that lower consciousness. And that's okay, because this is the time for wavering, because sometimes we need to get that balance to go, okay, so how do I balance all of this amazing creativity, all these amazing things that are coming through? How do I find a way to counterbalance, to find where my piece is, to find how I can work through this? And so that's what Aquarius will do as well. So it will help us to kind of not just intellectualize everything, but to find a way to find alignment between our consciousness and our hearts, so that we can stop wavering and come to that point by when Aquarius has gone through and moved in, Pluto has moved into Pisces, which is quite a long way off yet. But when it moves there, it's like, okay, so it's time now. to equalize everything. We're moving through equalizing, so that when we get into Pisces, it will be that's that's ruled by Neptune, which is all of the intergalactic stuff, which is all of that stuff that is way out there. So who knows where that will go. I don't have the predictions for that, but yeah, it's just all massive transition.
If
And go ahead.
I was going to ask Kim, for our viewers that are not familiar with astrology, would you
Yeah.
say that like the different planets, they affect our consciousness? And they
Yeah.
themselves, would you say, or in your perception, are the outer planets consciousness? Do they have
It's
their own type of consciousness?
that's a really good question. I don't know if I can answer it either yes or no, because I'm opening up to a lot more things more than I know right now. So I'm not going to say yes or no, because something might evolve later and I go, oh, I was wrong about that. But what I will say is that our chart, our birth chart, is a map of the universe. It is a map and a placement of where we were in the universe when we came when we breathed our first breath in this lifetime. And it showed the placement of where things were as almost like a blueprint to say, okay, so, but this is your starting point. And as the planets keep moving now, just like the weather's changing, just like we're feeling, different events happening that at different times, so we too are changing and evolving. So your chart can it isn't stationary. It's not just a on a piece of paper written down. It's a multi-dimensional thing. Just as we are multi-dimensional beings, we're actually all becoming more than what we think, like I was saying before about this empowerment. So when the planets are shifting as well and moving through the different signs, our chart and us, we're moving through. So it's giving us an understanding to help us to reach that higher consciousness. And the chart in itself is a tool. It's there as a tool to help us, just like we have a map of navigation. It's our form of navigation to help us if we do get into that confusion, if we do think that, oh my God, what's the point of all of this? Well, this is it right here. This is where it's pointing to you, and everything's transitionary. So where you are right now is not where you may be tomorrow. So it's helping us understand that the planets itself sometimes can just be symbolic. That planet up there in Mars isn't coming down and shooting all that fiery energy just onto you. It's symbolic, so that it's giving us a language, almost like a light language of what's happening in the universe. It's just another way, just like numerology, visions, dreams. It's all part of helping us understand where we are and how we can navigate our way through to become the best that we can be. Not in terms of successful, in terms of material wealth and so forth, but in terms of our ascension. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And speaking of ascension, okay, so I have a question. I hope that I can relay it to you properly. We have just come out of, I could be wrong, but it's my understanding that we have just come out of the age of Pisces, which Pisces is the symbol for the Christian religion. And we are coming into the age of Aquarius now. And
No, Pisces is coming. Yeah, Pisces is coming. As far as Pluto goes, yeah, there may be something in terms of because Neptune has been in Pisces. So there are, like there is always that element of Pisces around, because the moon moves through Pisces. It's actually, is it in Pisces? The moon's moving into Pisces now. So, but before the moon, Pluto was went into Aquarius, it was in Capricorn. And so that is all about authority, and rigidity of thinking. And so that the shift is through, like I said, about questioning and looking more at the truth coming through, in terms of human rights. But before, when it was in Capricorn, it was more about us questioning figures of authority, and questioning whether or not, yeah, do I really accept that now? That just because they say that, is it the truth? And social media in its positive form is doing us that for us. It's informing us of things that are happening that have been suppressed for a long time, because people in Ecuador have mobile phones now, and they can film things that are happening with their government there now, so that we would have never been aware of, because the media over there have gone black on things that are happening there right now. So yeah,
So
that's my understanding of, like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
my understanding is that every so many thousands of years we come
Yes.
into an astrological sign. So it was my understanding that we are now coming out of the age of Pisces.
That might be something, not as far as I know.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're
So
always moving through something.
are we still in the age of Pisces?
No, not in terms of what's happening now, because Pisces is all about absorption. So a lot of when we're absorbing things around us, we can tend to take on board a lot of things that we don't own, a lot of things that are not ours. And so the only way I can relate to that is when I was talking about boundaries, is that we were all becoming very aware of boundaries and not taking on board and accepting things and allowing things into our life that we would have once accepted. So if that was what you term the age of Pisces, then yeah, as far as acceptance and absorbing was going, is now moving away into, I'm starting to question that now. I don't believe that anymore.
Right.
So yeah, I'd be interested to know what that was about. Maybe something different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, David Price says, I'm a Cancer, Leo cusp, and a happy face. It can be confusing when looking at
Oh,
horoscopes.
oh yes. Yeah, so did you say David's a Sun Piscean?
No,
I'm Cancer, sorry, Sun
he's a
Cancerian.
he's a
Yeah,
Cancer with a Leo cusp.
yeah. So Leo is trying to force him to be more visible, and also to force him to have more self-respect, and to be within his own pride, to have pride about who he is and what he believes in. Yet the Cancerian is more like I was talking before about that sensitivity. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm not sure if I should say that. I'm not sure if I should do that. People might not respect or like me for doing that. So that's where those two things can be a little out of sync. So it's a feeling of part of him not being in sync with where he is right now. And can I say that I'm just getting this message about being grounded in the here and now, because sometimes what can happen is we can move out of timelines without even knowing it, because the Cancerian can also be very sentimental people, and they look at the past and they remember and have memories of things that times in their life when they were at their happiest, when they had joy or more freedom, or things that happened that they want to go back to. But what it can do is it takes them out of sync with time, and they feel that all of the things from that past they want to have. And so when they're in the here and now, they feel that they're just a little bit out of time and out of sync. So yeah, it's very, very important to stay grounded with that Cancerian and the Leo. Stay grounded in the here and now, and which is for all of us too, really.
Yes. And so we have, I'm sorry, I'm losing my place here. The question that we ask everybody: what message would you like to leave our audience with?
Yeah, it's just stand in your truth, be in your truth, and you will know what that is, even if you are not quite sure what you are becoming or who you are. Just be in that truth, stay with it.
Beautiful, beautiful. We have really, really enjoyed your time with us, and that's a lot of information that
I
you've
was
given
talking
us.
really fast as well, because I'm like,
That's
oh, I want to tell you this, I want
okay.
to tell you this.
Because there's so much to say, though, and
Yeah, and that
we
was my
didn't
thing is,
we didn't even ask her about her book.
Oh,
She's also
yeah.
an author,
no, that's okay.
but
That's okay.
to be continued, Kim.
To be
Yeah.
continued.
You'll have to come back. That's all there is to it.
This
So
has been
perfect.
such a joy, very enriching. And earlier, just a few moments ago, Raven, when you asked about, is it, we're coming out of the Pisces, all I can hear is, this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Absolutely.
Age of
Absolutely.
Aquarius. And what's so amazing is that that band is called The Fifth Dimension. Yeah.
Awesome.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's a song from like the 70s.
It is.
And
Yeah,
even
and
back then they were talking about the fifth dimension.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that was a time when all that stuff was just starting to come through. So all that hippie era and the flower power, it was just coming off the back of war, the Vietnamese, the war in Vietnam. And so people, again, it was coming through then, like revolution, power to the people. Yeah, don't get caught up in the war mentality when
Yeah, a lot of people got killed for speaking out too.
yeah.
Right
And
around
they have that
that
memory, and we've witnessed that as well. So that's why there's so much fear. It's, oh, we have to do this again, or
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
but in a very different way now.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back for part 2, and we'll have to discuss it. You just have a wealth of information, and it's something that we all need to hear.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you. I actually, I think also because it keeps moving for me, more stuff comes through. I forget how much I actually do know. And it's like, yeah.
Mhm.
Will I have anything to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you
Well, thank
so
you.
much, Kim.
It's been amazing, and you both made me feel really welcome. I really appreciated you
Oh,
inviting me
thank
to your
you.
space. So yeah, it's been
And
great.
we also want to put up your website
Thank you.
just in case anybody would like to go to your
Yeah,
website.
thank you.
And I went to the website, and I thought it was very nice. I wish that I was in Australia so that I could go to the fireside chats, because
Yeah, that was really good. I do that in winter, and what I did was I did a sequence where we went up into, it was nice because being outside, I got people to come out of I wanted them to have like an out of body experience. I wanted them to understand a little bit more about astral traveling and to be able to move out of the restriction of their own home and float above and travel to another place. And the technique that I use is called the Christos technique, which is about extending your fingers and your toes and your legs and your body so that you feel like, first of all, you are actually coming out of your body. And then once you come out of your body, you're coming out of your location. And I mean, it was just unbelievable. People had some of the stuff that they were saying to me. It's like, wow, that's pretty full on. Yeah, that was, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I want to
more
go
than I
to
expected.
Australia in the winter time, which is probably, now we're going into winter.
May, June.
So I have time to prepare. So I
Yeah,
definitely would love to attend one of your fireside chats. That would be amazing.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we'll have to have you on for part 2. Thank you so much for coming, and
Oh,
Who knows
you're
what will
such an
unfold
interesting
between.
lady.
Yeah.
David says, I'm in Australia, so I will look you up, Kim.
Oh,
wow.
David, go to her fireside chats.
Yes.
You've got to do it, David. And then tell us all about it.
Awesome.
So, thank you so very, very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Lovely to meet you both.
You as well, my dear. Thank you kindly. Don't go anywhere while she plays our goodbye.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, just blossom around, Lisa.
Thank you for joining us on Soul Fire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Love Light. You can also catch Soul Fire Ascension on YouTube and Rumble at Soul Fire Ascension, or listen anytime on Spotify. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe to help us grow this community of light. Soul Fire Ascension is proudly sponsored by RavensHealingarts.com.